Canon EOS M50. You know, Canon always, I remember opening my first Canon Rebel back in the day, and they always have this huge manual on how to operate the camera. And I feel like there's a lot of trees that were wasted just to make this stupid manual. Camera strap, never use it. Here's the good stuff. Here's that. It's like a kit lens. And a battery. Cool. So that's good. They don't waste anything else. And the main reason that I purchased this camera is actually for my wife, who wanted to start shooting video and potentially start a YouTube channel. So we wanted to try and get something that was easy to use. So we wanted to try to get something that was as easy to use as possible. And the Canon M50 was probably one of the most highest purchased cameras in 2020, 2019 even. And so we pulled the trigger and we bought it, and we're gonna see how it looks. So my first impressions, I really like the texture of the camera. It does feel like high quality. And you know, back in 2018 when this camera was first released, I could see why people would rave about this camera. It does feel really good. Like I said, the grip here, I like that little rubberized grip. It feels really nice. There we go. We got a sensor. Look at that. A little crop sensor. It's a 1.6 crop. Let's see what else we got. So we got the kit lens. This cute little lens. And it is a 15 to 45, which is an aperture of 3.5 to 6.3 IS STM lens. So 15 to 45 is probably going to be about a 24 to 70 focal length, which is kind of pretty much like a standard focal length. So it comes with a battery, which is the Canon LPE12 battery. I hear the battery life is roughly about an hour and a half of continuous shooting. So we might have to pick up an extra one of these in order to record for a full day. Or maybe even two, we'll see. And it comes with a wall charger, which is actually really nice. It doesn't have all these cords. If you see my box where I carry all my wires and cords, it looks like spaghetti in there right now. So I really appreciate that they didn't put extra cords, because it really does start getting in the way. Start putting this kit together here. Okay, so here's our little here's the little battery compartment. It looks like the SD card also goes in here, so I'll have to go get an SD card right now. And it looks like the battery goes in. We got this for a little less than $600, this camera. And I want to start talking about some of the pros and cons about this camera and why we decided to buy it. You know, we have two Sony a7 IIIs, right, with full frame lenses. I shoot also on a Blackmagic with the Canon FDs. So, you know, why would we pick the Canon M50 when I have a camera that shoots 12-bit RAW, you know, 4K 60. I have the Sony a7 III that shoots great 4K 24, 30, and then also 1080 60. So why would I go with this M50? Now, like I said, it is mostly for the convenience factor and the ease of use and just the simplicity that is behind this. You know, you can have really expensive camera gear, but I feel like the ease of use, and you know what? I've never had this before. I've never had an articulating screen where I can actually see myself, record myself, and vlog and do this type of thing. My first camera was the Canon, the 5D Mark IV, didn't have an articulating screen. I have the Sony a7 III, has articulating screen, but it doesn't flip out, so I can't see myself when I'm recording. So even right now, I'm kind of guessing, hopefully that, you know, hoping I'm in focus, and the frame and everything, the lighting is all done right. So I guess that's the main reason, is because my wife is a complete beginner, and this is really aimed at beginners. Issues right out of the box, you're going to hit everything on automatic settings, hit record, and you should get a great image right out of the box. Isn't it crazy? When this thing first came out in 2018, this thing used to cost $800, and now we're looking at, like I said, now we're looking at right under $600 for this camera. I feel like that is a steal. So one of the things that we were looking for in a camera is an articulating screen and a flip out LCD screen. So now you can look at yourself, you can record, you can focus here on the touch screen, and get your exposures right with the flip out screen. And you know what? I feel like this camera already going on 3 years old now. Canon was, ahead of the game here with his flip out screens. Like I mentioned before, even Sony currently are barely starting to add articulating flip out screens on their newer mirrorless cameras. So I feel like this is why this is such a popular camera with YouTubers and stuff, because of this flip out screen that helps you make sure you're in the frame and you're in focus and you're exposed properly. Because with my current mirrorless cameras and even my Blackmagic, I can't focus on myself, and I can't even see myself in the frame. So another thing that it has going on for it right now is that it's a mirrorless camera. It is going to be more compact. The lenses that Canon makes for these EFM lenses, are super small and compact. So I really feel like I'm not going to be taking up a lot of space, and this is not going to be inconvenience to bring along with me. Holding it in my hands, it's super small, it's compact. I don't want to say it's pocket size, but I can definitely fit this in the baby bag, and it's not going to take up any space. I can definitely just hold this, just lay it down somewhere, put it here, just rest it there, take it with me, and it's not gonna be an inconvenience. And I feel like that's what draws a lot of people to this camera. So now we got to talk about the image quality. This camera is already 3 years old now. 1080 is still going to be usable in 2021. The most recent iPhone barely is supporting full 1080, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And you can just up-res your footage to 4K. That way when you upload it to YouTube, your videos will be suggested first over something that's in 1080. So just because it's in 1080 doesn't mean it's going to hurt you in the YouTube algorithm or anything like that. Another pro about this camera is that the dual pixel autofocus on this thing here is amazing. Now in 1080, the dual pixel autofocus stays on, but when you go to 4K, unfortunately, there's a huge crop and you lose dual pixel autofocus. What this camera reverts to afterwards is a contrast detect autofocus, and it's basically unusable at this point. And we can just stick with a 1080. I really bought this camera not intending to shoot 4K on it, because I know how the autofocus system was not going to be very convenient to use with 4K. So I bought this knowing that this was strictly going to be a 1080 or full HD camera. Now the other features that it has is going to be in 1080. It's going to shoot 24 and 1080 60 frames per second, so you can still get slow motion. I know everybody talks about shooting 120. When this camera shoots 120, it shoots it at 720. And at this point in 2018, 720 was already pretty much non-existent at that point. So especially coming into 2021, 720 is not even on the same ballpark. Or it's not even in our language vocabulary. But I can't really ever think of a time I've had to use 120 frames per second. I don't use it, to be honest. I use 60 frames a second or 24p. I don't use 120. The one other thing that you want to consider is the photography side of this thing. This thing shoots 24 megapixels, and this was back in 2018 on a little mirrorless body. My Sony a7 III also shoots 24 megapixels, and I use two Sony a7 IIIs for weddings to do prints, and I've printed huge prints out of 24 megapixels. So 24 megapixels is plenty to shoot with. It's more than enough for Instagram and social media. So 24 megapixels, perfect. And this is great for doing thumbnails, maybe just taking this around and taking photos of your family. So I want to talk about a few cons about the camera. One, I want to say, is the age. Now at this point, now we're talking, this camera is going to be 3 years old, shoots 1080. Now there's different qualities of 4K, different qualities of 1080. And so this bit depth and bit rate is probably going to be outdated. The codecs are going to be a little bit outdated. It's going to shoot in H.264. So it's going to be a little outdated. I get it. But for the price, we're talking like a $500 camera pretty much at this point now. I feel like you still can't beat it, and it's going to be great for vlogs, and it's going to be easy to use, which was the most important thing. So you might be asking, why didn't we go with a ZV-1? Why didn't we go with a Sony a6600? A6600 is like double the price of this with your lenses and everything, and mics and all that. And the Sony, the ZV-1 doesn't have detachable lenses. And so that was also a big factor for us, is that we can, this kit lens is going to get you by for the first couple of videos and stuff, but you're really going to want to invest in your class. But for now, we're going to be using this little kit lens, and I feel like it's going to get my wife through plenty of videos for her YouTube channel. So the other thing we want to talk about is the battery life. It's going to get you about a good an hour and a half of continuous shooting in 1080 24p. So you're probably going to have to stock up on some batteries. You're probably going to have to get another 2 batteries or so, maybe 1, just to kind of get through the day of shooting. Obviously, we're not going to be shooting continuously for an hour and a half at a time, unless you're recording like a sports game or something. But even then, I think an hour and a half would still get you through an entire game of your kid or something. But with that being said, I would definitely recommend getting another battery or so, just so we can, just so you can have an extra battery. It's always recommended, just if you buy it, when you're buying a camera, you should probably buy another couple batteries just to kind of get you through a day, and just also the convenience of always having backup batteries that are charged for you. Alrighty, so I've talked about a lot of the features here in this camera, and you could tell me when you're watching this in 2020, 2021, if this image quality is good enough for another year or two from the Canon M50. Now, there's also the Canon M50, the EOS M50. They have a Mark II version, and we didn't go with the Mark II version because there was not much change in this versus the Mark II. The Mark II version, obviously will have like this eye autofocus thing, and also like live streaming capabilities and stuff like that. But I mean, for the extra $50, it wasn't really worth it to us to spend that just to get, a touchscreen record button and little features like that. Really wasn't worth it. And the price of the original Mark I has gone down significantly. Like I said, it used to cost $800 for this camera, and now we're getting it for less than $600. That's a $200 difference. I feel like it's a steal still for this camera. And leave a comment down below on how you feel about the Canon EOS M50. Do you own the EOS M50? I want to know. Let me know down below. All right, we're back on the Canon EOS M50. Alrighty guys, well, thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked the review, and let me know down in the comments below if you're going to consider this in 2020 going into 2021. The Canon EOS M50, I'm really impressed with it overall. It's great. I'm shooting on it right now by a window, and we're getting a great image. So anyways guys, thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.